Daniel, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Good, very good, thank you.
Awesome.
But yeah, very good.
We just recently speaking in the background, and you mentioned you came from a meeting today with someone very important. Who was it exactly?
The former Lord Mayor of the City of London.
Former Lord Mayor of the City of London.
Yeah,
How is
it's
that?
confusing. It's confusing what the City of London is and how just London in general, and also what the Lord Mayor does. But essentially, what I got from the meeting was that the City of London is sort of like a corporation more for the workers. So the workers have sort of the ability to give their votes and opinions on certain things, and he was the head of it. And every year there's a new person who gets elected, the Lord Mayor. So yeah, pretty cool.
So cool. How did you manage that? Like meeting with the Lord Mayor? Yeah.
That was weird. So last year I was nominated for Leicestershire's Young Person of the Year award.
Oh wow! Casually dropped it. Yeah, last year I got this award.
It was with the Lord Lieutenant of Leicestershire, who is Michael Kapoor, like an OBE or MBE. Yeah, pretty cool guy. And he gives like awards out just to young people in Leicester who are doing sort of a lot of things for the community in Leicester and sort of trying to make an impact on the community in Leicester. So I got nominated for that. I got to the finals, and I was a finalist in the Young Leader of the Year award. So there was like a young leader, there was a young sportsman/woman, young, I think like volunteer of the award, and there was a few of them. I was young leader.
What did that involve?
That was someone just nominated me. So I think it was my teacher from the year, teacher from when I was in school, my careers leader. She nominated me, and then I got through to the finals, and then in the finals they just literally said like what the nomination said, and then they just picked a winner based on that.
Why did your teacher nominate you? You must have done something.
Yeah, it was more for like my financial education work, and sort of the work I've been doing, sort of trying to just increase financial education and trying to get more people understanding the basics of personal finance and like mortgages, income tax, all that stuff. So yeah, it was basically just that. And how I met him was trying to think. So on my dinner table that night, the award ceremony, I was with the High Sheriff of Leicestershire, which is like sort of a representative to the King / the royal family. He's just basically quite an important guy in Leicestershire, and he's really good friends with the Lord Mayor of the City of London. So yeah, essentially,
that's really awesome, because you're being like recognised for the impact you're making. And you mentioned how you're trying to educate young people about like actual finance, like mortgages and stuff. Where did that start? Because I've been following your journey for a while. I started watching your first videos on econlearn. Yeah, I'm an OG fan.
The classics.
So would you like to explain to our viewers exactly where it all started?
Sure. I would probably say it was the pandemic. So it was like March 20th, 2020. We all went back home. And like we thought it was going to be a 2-week holiday. And I was like, yes, 2-week holiday. That's so calm. I remember that. And then I think Rishi Sunak was the Chancellor of the Exchequer then, and I was just like really interested in how the economy was going to run during this pandemic. How he was able to do all these things, shut down the economy, shut down the whole of UK basically. It was really fascinating. Obviously the Eat Out to Help Out scheme in August 2020, and all that stuff was sort of fascinating. And then it made me think that we don't really learn about this in school, and I was like, right, this is a bit weird. Like we had PSD lessons, but everyone sees PSD lessons as a fake lesson. Like you just turn up, no one does any work.
What's
like,
PST? Is it like PSHE?
Yeah, PSHE. That's that. I don't know what PSD stands for. I can't remember. It's the same as PHSC.
I think it's like health, well-being. They teach you about like not to smoke, not to drink. Like the general.
It's essentially things you're meant to be taught in school, but you're not taught in school. So
exactly.
It's like, it's sort of what to do when your landlord is being a bit. How do you deal with rent? How do you deal with personal finance or like careers? But they don't. Everyone sees it as a fake lesson because there's no exams, and it's like on a Friday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. that the teacher doesn't even want to come to. No one really like listens. So even if personal finance was taught in it, which it probably was taught, what I would say once a year in high school, it wasn't taught properly essentially. So yeah, I just saw that it wasn't taught in school, sort of this economics, personal finance thing. So I noticed that TikTok and Instagram was becoming a bit more popular, short form content, but it was more like dancing videos and like, you know, Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae. They were just like, that was becoming popular. But I was like, surely education could be quite good on these short form platforms. So yeah, I just started posting a basic personal finance concepts on like income tax, like how income tax works. Like loads of people actually didn't know that income tax was marginal.
Yeah, like brackets.
Yeah, the brackets. No one knew about that in my videos.
I actually learned that from the UCAT, right? Did you learn that same thing?
No way.
How income tax works in brackets? Because do you know what the UCAT is, right?
Yeah, my brother did.
And in like quantitative reasoning, there's like, work out how much tax this person's got to pay. And I didn't know the thing, right? But that taught me like, it's in brackets.
Yeah, it's
which
crazy.
is crazy.
I was gonna do the UCAT just to see if I could beat my brother. I was gonna do.
Really?
I remember I was speaking to my biology teacher in year 12, and I was like, "Miss, can I do the UCAT just to annoy him, but see if I can beat him?" But nah, I never went through it.
But it seems like all your things are coming from your knowledge in economics, which this was in COVID time as well.
Yeah.
So did you take econ for like GCSE or something?
No, that's the thing. I only did econ at A level, and the first time I did it, I remember the first few weeks I found it so hard. It was just like weird diagrams, weird concepts, and I was like, in the homework, so I was getting D's and E's. I was like, yo, should I be doing this something like this is weird? And I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm probably going to study econ at university, so I might even fit for it. But
just self-taught.
No, I did econ A level, but not econ GCSE. So,
but when you said you start making videos.
Yeah, in year 11 probably.
Yeah. So you started learning that stuff.
Yeah, just started reading the news, learning on like Investopedia, I think it's called.
Yeah,
all these just random websites, and then I decided I may as well pick econ A level. And yeah, I really enjoyed econ A level, and that's when econlearn started.
Econlearn.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about econlearn?
Yeah, sure. A bit weird actually. I started it before I'd even got my grade in A level econ. So if anyone's watched my videos, they watched it based on someone who hadn't actually done the exams yet. But I was confident that I was going to get a good grade, which I did in the end. But yeah, I think econlearn, why did it start? I just wanted a way for me to sort of watch over or like understand the content really well that I could explain to other people, and I used to do that by teaching it to my friends, and then my friends already knew I made videos on like financial literacy, personal finance, so they're like, why don't you just do diagrams on a whiteboard? It's sort of like econlearn, just call it econlearn and just make videos. And so yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, it's just why not just give it a go.
Yeah, I feel like teaching is one of the best forms of learning.
Yeah, I agree.
In medicine, they always say, see one, do one, teach one.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you actually teach something, so you're going to be challenged by people saying, do you actually understand?
Yeah, you have to really understand. I realised that when teaching econ, because I went to Korea last year for 3 months to teach English actually, and economics and biology. And I realised you need to really understand the content, especially teaching to kids whose first language isn't English. Especially when it was English. And they made me teach an econ concept called, it was something like game theory or something.
I heard of game theory.
And I was like, why do you want me to teach that? That's so complex. And then they made me.
How old were
They were young, some of them. They're like 10 years old, 11 years old. But some of them I taught a range. This is what I loved about the job so much. I taught a range from the age of 4 to 17. And it was really weird. I just turned 19 at the time. So the fact that a 17-year-old and I was teaching a 17-year-old was very weird, but also they did have the respect for me. And I was like, I made sure to sort of build like that nice environment. But yeah, that was like one of my favorite experiences, sort of like teaching in a country abroad. And yeah, if you ever have the chance, do something like that. Just go abroad, give it a go, teach abroad. Like, I think it's so. I would love to do it this year, but I've got an internship, so I can't. But just give it a go. Just go abroad and just do some teaching or something.
Get some experience.
What's inspired you to do all of this?
What's inspired me?
Because you talked about the econlearn, where you saw the gap there, and even for the teaching kids English, it's like you saw that gap.
Yeah, probably just helping others and seeing I like seeing sort of that, especially students. I think students are often overlooked in just society as a whole, which is becoming a bit better now. But I think just overall they are just sort of just seen as they're just students. They just want to party and stuff, and like they don't really care about stuff. It's just nice seeing students sort of like benefit from like the advice I'm giving, even if it's just like one word advice or just one thing that I say stays with them. It's just really nice seeing. And then when I get these messages being like, you helped me get an A star in economics, or
nice.
Or like, I'm really pleased that I got this like internship by your advice, by just cold emailing someone. There's like stuff like that. It's just really nice. But I like teaching students and really just explaining certain stuff to students and helping them, because I feel school does miss out on a lot of things, especially when it comes to like personal finance, careers, personal branding, networking. School just does not cover any of that. So I think it's quite important.
Yeah, what would you say is like, you talk about personal finance, what would you say what is the main thing that people should learn about personal finance?
Ooh, good question. I think it's probably saving and investing, and a bit more investing, and just learning the importance of sort of investing and understanding the difference between saving and investing and sort of the different accounts. And also as students, even if we put like 20 quid a month into like an S&P 500, for example, like an ETF fund, you are going to eventually get a return in the future. And I think just learning the importance of just sort of living below your means and just not spending that much, but also you may as well just invest here and there and just give it a go, and just learning. Like the way I started investing was just learning, and I do it here and there. I haven't actually done it properly enough, but just doing it here and there and just learning about it, I'd say. And more students are learning about that, I think. And like with student loans, like some people I know invest parts of their student loans, which is sort of wise.
Wow. Can you give an example of something that most students can save on?
Most students can save on? The pub. That includes me.
So expensive.
That includes me as well. I would say just make the most of all these random apps there are. And so I have this app called Dusk, which all my friends know about. It's this free app where you get free drinks. Every day I can get a free pint or a free like gummy bear at the local Simmons or something. It's so weird, but it's free.
Dusk.
Yeah, Dusk, or Too Good To Go, for example. Like that. The problem with Too Good To Go is I feel like sometimes I use it a bit too much, that I'm spending more than I should be on the actual like, day I go. But say I've just come back from the gym and I don't want to buy like a £7 pizza from Sainsbury's. I'll go Too Good To Go and they'll give me like so many snacks and pastries. But I would say using these apps to sort of get free things. Like Franco Manca did £5 pizzas a few weeks ago. I'm told that there's this pizza in King's Cross that if you bring a pineapple, you get a free pineapple. You get a free pineapple. Yeah, you get a free pineapple pizza. I forgot what it's called. But search it up. Yeah, you get a free pineapple over the next month, and it's like I looked on Lidl the other day. It's an 80p for a pineapple, and I can get a free pizza. So I think it's just knowing all these sort of freebies things that they do. I guess like as a student, that's how you could probably say for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you've talked about investing. You mentioned a little bit about that, and you just skipped over some terms. I understand them, and Reese probably understands as well. But just for our viewers, you said the words ETF and S&P. Do you mind explaining to our viewers who might not be familiar with this terminology, what exactly that means in the world of investing? Yeah,
so Bro's asking me as well. No, so S&P 500, if I'm correct, it's 500 companies in the US, and it's just like a basket, it's like a basket of their stocks essentially, or their companies and their shares. And then you just invest. When you invest into the S&P 500 as a whole, rather than an individual company, which I guess is beneficial because say one company could just do really bad, you've still got 499 companies sort of backing you. So
just going back to the example that Reese said earlier about, or like a question he asked about how do students spend money. I actually watched this interesting video. I don't know if either of you have seen it, but there's a guy on YouTube. And he realized that he spent like $5 on coffee when Starbucks bought coffee every morning. And what he did instead of buying coffee every morning, every $5 he'd reinvest into the S&P. I don't know if you've seen that video.
I think I've seen I've seen videos of people saying it, being like, you can do that. I think you can see when you're spending so much every day, it's just the small things add up. Like you're like, I'll go get just like the coffee or the snack. Like it's just you're not earning as a student, or you're going to be earning just small amounts of income, whether you're freelancing, part-time job. So I think it's just being a bit smart with your money. But then again, you also are a student, so sometimes don't beat yourself down to it if you're going really just not to spend.
But
it's not the worst but try your best to sort of save. I would say. Just be a bit careful. I would say in London especially, things are expensive, and I don't eat out too much. I try to cook at home. Sometimes you just have to you get carried away, you just get busy.
Is that balance between I'm a student, I'm going to make the most out of uni, I'm in London, or for other viewers in other cities, and also I am on a student loan. There's so much money that I can have. I mean, like for you personally, what's your main thing that you like to spend money on?
Holidays, traveling.
Holidays,
Traveling is like one of my biggest passions. Like,
Okay.
I don't mind like splashing out on travels, but I also make sure the flights are cheap. So I went to Albania last year in May, £10 return flights.
Wait, like £5 each way?
£5 each way, yeah.
That's cheaper than a taxi.
You know the train to the airport, I think it was London Gatwick, was £12.80 or something, and it was more expensive than flights. It's insane.
Me and you, this Sunday, Albania.
Trust me,
Yeah.
so many cheap flights. Like, I went to Milan. My return flight. I went to Milan 3 weeks ago. My return flight's about 30-40 quid. That was a bit more expensive because I think we just went on like days that were busy. But Morocco, I went in December, and the flight there, I want to say it was like 25-26 pounds. Return flight was £8. It's just like being in London. So any London viewers watching this, we're so privileged to be surrounded by 5-6 airports, like even if it's Southend, if that counts. We're so privileged. So make the most of it. Of like the weekend
flights, like
you're gonna spend a lot in London. Like just a random day out in London. Like say you get 2 coffees, say you get lunch. It's gonna add up. Whereas just take a cheap flight. You can take the train. You can go like most stations here, like Gatwick. You can go from London Bridge. You can go from Blackfriars, Euston, Pancras. You can go. So it's cheap, I would say. Like make the most of it. I'd say.
Yeah.
That's probably what I like to spend my money on. But even when I am there, I do try and save a bit here and there. But I don't. If I'm in Paris, like I want to get my like espresso coffee or something. I don't mind it.
They're a lot cheaper there.
Yeah, they are. Just things are cheaper in like sort of Europe in general.
that's true. But it seems like you're really passionate about like trying to save money a little bit, even if it's a little bit here and there, as much as you can. Even if like sometimes, obviously, we're all human. Sometimes, as you said, the overall message is you can't help it. Sometimes you go out, or you might spend a bit more in Paris or whatever. But the overall message you're trying to deliver is whenever you can, try your best to.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Like just like same with at the pub. If like you get 3 pints, just cut it down to 2.
Yeah.
And like try go to a pub that has student deals.
Yeah.
So like I've been just trying to explore a few more like around Camden area where I live, and I didn't realise a lot of these existed. And I used to go to the one that was just down the road from me, but like walking an extra 5 minutes is good. You get steps in, like it's good for you. It's just go.
Just think about the little things, and then if you do them every day, like the guy with the coffee, it adds up, right? Like with a compounding effect.
You can go traveling more and spend more on traveling. Like that's the way I see it. And like if I save a bit more now, I can do traveling and spend a bit extra on traveling, which I don't mind. Like abroad, I don't mind spending a bit extra on like a coffee or lunch rather than spend it here.
Go to a cheaper country and buy the pints there.
Like Bulgaria or like Budapest.
That's awesome. Well, we'll move on quickly to your university. So you're at UCL studying economics. And you're in your second year. Second year.
Yeah.
And you have 4 years, right? And you were telling me about this earlier as well. You're going abroad next year to California. Is that confirmed?
Yeah, California is confirmed. I just haven't found out the university yet. I'm hoping for Santa Barbara, but hopefully if people watch this in a few months' time, I might be already there. But I think I was unsure about picking between Australia and US, and I think Australia was like going to be fit more my vibe. But then just US, like I think for growth opportunities, entrepreneurship opportunities, sort of from what I've spoken to and the people I've heard there, they're very ambitious. And it's hard to find students like you two in London. Like we have to go out of way with like Kes with you guys and like ACES London. It's hard to find those like really entrepreneurial and sort of ambitious driven students. But apparently in US, it's just, especially California, they're everywhere.
Yeah, correct.
They are correct. And so I thought just give it a go, a year abroad. I think it's really important you sort of go away from your home country, and like this is why I respect international students who are coming from all over. The fact they come to London with not knowing many people or knowing 0 people, a completely new environment, sometimes a new language. I really respect that. And I think that's what I want to do. Like, as I mentioned with Korea, I spent 3 months away from my home country, new environment, didn't know the language, didn't know a single person there. I walked away like with a lot of fun, and I had so many memories, made some good friends who I'm still in touch with. So I think it's really important having that experience of that sort of year abroad. So if anyone has a the chance to do a year abroad, I would do it electives. I'm assuming you guys do electives.
Yeah.
So yeah, just make the most of it. I would say just try as many activities, and yeah, that's my plan for year abroad. Like meet as many cool people. I want to surf. I want to learn to surf.
Jeez.
Because obviously, if I'm going to Santa Barbara, yeah, I do need to go to surf practice. But yeah, it should be good fun. I'm excited, but it will be weird like living away from home. It's like I can't just call up my mum and dad.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, I might come home this weekend. It's
Yeah.
going to be very different. But I think should learn a lot about myself, and I think it will just make me more resilient and build me as a person, and like make me stronger. Because during times when I really need like my family, I think it's then where I have to deal with the situation myself or with the friends around. So I think it also means I have to sort of make really good friends as well, which yeah, hopefully I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's really great to hear. And it seems like you're so excited to go as
Yeah,
well.
buzzing.
I mean, past few days in London, the weather's been beautiful.
Oh, it's so good.
But I'm sure in California it'll be
Yeah.
even more amazing.
Like that's 24/7.
It's actually been amazing the past few days. But because the podcast unfortunately has to come to a close soon, it's going to be the penultimate question. But I want to come to your network. And you mentioned in California you're hoping to build connections with ambitious entrepreneurial people.
Yeah.
How exactly do you go about doing that? How have you done that so far, and how exactly are you going to go about doing that?
Question. Honestly, it's just LinkedIn. It's such a powerful platform. Just reaching out to people, just you're gonna get a response. And also the way I see it is, everyone was also once students. Like every person, they were all once students. So they want to help students. They're willing to help students. Every person I've messaged out, I most likely get a response. There's obviously going to be someone I don't reply. But the way I see it is always follow up. I did a LinkedIn post about this like a few months ago. There was this lady who was this Sonia Barlow. She was this like cool entrepreneur. She's a speaker about AI, TEDx speaker and stuff. And I met her at a Cardiff event in 2023, just as I was coming into uni. So I was first year, and I was just trying to meet cool people. And I met her at an event. I contacted her, and we had been trying to plan a coffee chat for literally 9 months, and just back and forth messaging. It did not work. But because I kept following up, she gave me an opportunity as soon as an opportunity came, and I was able to like volunteer. Actually, no, it was a paid opportunity. She was speaking at a Karen Brady. Have you watched The Apprentice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know Karen Brady from the Lord Sugar's Aid?
Not too sure.
Okay, fair. Okay, but yeah, Karen Brady's like Lord Sugar's Aid, and she interviewed Karen Brady at Karen Brady's Women in Business Tech Expo event,
Okay.
and I just helped her at that, and it really like improved my communication skills, sort of my sales skills as well. And yeah, that was all from sort of me following up.
Yeah.
So I think if you don't get a response straight away, there's no harm in following up after a week and just trying to see if you can build that sort of network and sort of that relationship with the person. So yeah, with me it's networking. I just sort of cold email. That's how I got my Bank of England opportunities. It's
Free cold emailing.
yeah, that was just pure cold email.
Wow.
It was. I read an article about financial education in a digital world, and so obviously I was doing a lot about that because it was personal finance on TikTok and Instagram. So I emailed them being like, "Can I write the next article?" I don't know why I said that. Year 13 me, I needed something for my personal statement, so I was like, "Yeah, let's just give it a shot."
Yeah.
I didn't think I would get a response, but I got a response, and the reply was, "Oh, you can't do that because it's only for bank colleagues who can write them. But we'll send you through to the next team, like another team, I think it was the education team." But then 2 weeks went by, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to get a response. Surprised, they replied back. Fast forward a few Microsoft Teams meetings later and like a few like coffee chats. They invited me to London, like paid for my travel to London, and I got to see the bank for the first time. And ever since then, I've been able to build that relationship. And I think that's really important. If you meet someone, just try and keep that relationship going. And over university, I've been able to keep my relationship with the Bank of England going over these past few months, and it's been really important in case I ever need advice or help. So yeah, that's me. It's just cold emailing, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, commenting, and being like, I have this insight that I would love to share with you, and I'd love to like grab a coffee with you or virtual coffee. Yeah. I always say, if you can, try and do an in-person meet up with the person you're meeting rather than virtual. Like right now, it's so much more interesting because you're in person. I can see your facial like expressions and stuff. It's just, I think it's just cooler. You're able to build a better connection and rapport with the person when it's in person. But if it's virtual, it's not the worst. But try it to be in person.
Networking changes lives.
Yeah,
Like,
changes
that's what I've
lives.
It does. It generally does. It's so useful.
Yeah. Okay, so the final question for you. If you have to give a step-by-step guide to our viewers that are listening to be where you are at the moment, what are the first few steps?
Okay. Okay. Wow. Good question. I would say just look at where you want to be. Sort of like I try. One thing I'm trying to do a bit more in 2025 is just sort of write down things on a like as you're doing on a notebook.
Journaling.
Yeah, just journaling a bit more and sort of just see where you are right now. See where you want to be in 2 years' time. Or I don't say 5 years because like life changes.
Yeah,
you never know.
totally.
For me, it's like where do I want to be when I graduate uni, which should be 2027. Like where do I want to be? And yeah, I just sort of see that, and then based on that, I sort of work with the next few months and sort of how do I approach these next few months? All right, I've got exams in May. I need to focus on that. But I've got these 2 months in March and April, which I can focus on other things like networking and going to events and building something. So yeah, I would say sort of just open, like see the bigger picture and where you want to be in 2 years' time, and then sort of just small steps till then.
Yeah.
And then don't plan it all out in 2 years. Sort of like plan it every like 3 months, because things change. Like so much can change. Like I didn't think, I thought I was going to do gap year, but no, I came into it straight away. So it's like so many things change. But yeah.
It's a really unique piece of advice that we've not heard on the podcast before. But yeah, it's been great speaking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, you're so well spoken, and we definitely both enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you. No,
all about
thank you so
personal
much.
finance, economics, we went to investing, even your trip in Korea. It's been amazing. So thank you very much for joining us, and have fun in California.
Thank you.